Hello, everybody. You guys have no idea how absolutely excited I am right now. Literally, um, we just what do I even want to say? We just literally recorded a podcast. Shatay is going to be one of my guest speakers, so watch for that. It's Step into the Light, Step into Your Life. It'll probably be coming out in August or September of 2024.
Mhm.
And I was just sharing with her the magic of what happened with one of my posts here on my Facebook feed, Sandra Pelli the Sandini. And if you're catching this live on YouTube, feel free to leave comments because we will definitely check in on that. But what I wanted to really kind of bring home was something that really wild happened. If you're into astrology and all the different things that are happening, the shifts that are happening all around the world, something really big is occurring. And I create this post called Break the Cycle, and it has this picture, an animated picture of four people, four women. It could be four guys, it really doesn't matter. It's generational, and it's basically what it is it's the child is playing, the next generation up from it is expressing love, and then the next two generations behind it are still in that negative feedback type of experience. And this Break the Cycle post of mine has gone just totally viral. I believe it's bleh. Gotta love when you're live and tongue twisted, right? It's gone viral, meaning that 10,500,000 people have seen this. 178,000 people have liked and loved it. It has been shared something like close to 50,000 times, and
Wow.
it's in my feed on Sandra Pelli the Sandini. So it really indicates to me the importance of this topic. Like it
Yeah.
is such a valid, powerful topic. And when we were doing the interview for the podcast, Step into the Light, Step into Your Life, you mentioned something and I mentioned something, and I just really wanted to bring that home as well. Breaking the cycle isn't always to do with the generational things of maybe what we've heard from somebody, but it
Mhm.
also could be the career things. It could be the way we eat, the way we
Yeah.
travel, all sorts of different things. So I asked Shate, do you mind if we hop on together so that we can talk a little bit about this breaking the cycle?
Yeah.
Um, and so now I've gone blah, and I kind of went like that at you just before we came live. I would love for you, Shate, to first of all go, okay, what does break the cycle mean for you?
That's such a good question, and it's a deep one, Sandra, because I think about personally in my life what it means to break generational cycles that maybe have kept my family stuck in certain ways, and so for me, breaking the cycle means making a different choice. We were talking before in our interview that what it means to choose, make choices towards who you're becoming, and to me, it is breaking the cycle is one, it requires awareness of what the cycle is, first of all. And
Mm,
then two, having intentions, like actual intentional action towards doing the undoing of that cycle. So if it's, we always respond this way in anger, then what's the choice in a different direction until, those choices become your habits, so it becomes your
mm.
reality.
I absolutely love that. And I'm going to bring it, like, keep going the way you're going, Shate. Whatever comes up, throw it out there because this is just like, I'm in the flow here right now and I can just feel the energy of this. When I hear what you said, I know for sure that I personally broke the cycle
Mm,
with my mom. Okay, my mom was when she was born, her family had already grown and left home. Her brothers were already married when she was born, so she was considered whatever she was considered. And also, too, there wasn't probably a lot of love that was expressed
yeah.
between her parents and her, and therefore, what did she do with me and my sister? Not a whole lot of love. Sharing because she didn't really know how to do that, right? And so
Yeah.
I made it a point to make sure that my kids knew to hug, knew that I loved them. And I watched my kids growing up, and I watched my son literally hug all of his male friends, his
Yeah.
close group of buddies hug each other. And it goes further than that. Like you're a career steward and you've gone from this dancing career into something else. And you
Mhm.
had some really difficult moments transitioning. Would you like to express what happened there, please?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations to you on breaking
Mhm.
that cycle because that's huge. So to be able to actually see with your own eyes what man has manifested since you've broken the cycle is just truly, I think, a gift. So hopefully you feel that way too.
I do.
For me, oh my goodness, you all. So I had this lovely career that I just adored as a professional dancer choreographer. I'm teaching folks dance. I'm adjunct, and I'm going through my lovely, oh, I can't believe I get to do this for a living career, until one day I just didn't feel that way anymore. And I wouldn't say it was a very drastic, like, Tuesday I love it and Wednesday I hated it, but it was like, the start of the semester and I'm not as excited as I usually am, or, I'm just dragging. There's like small pebbles of like, this just quite doesn't feel as interesting, or the light is not as bright as it used to be on this
Mm.
work. Until one day I just had a nudging that, I'm meant for more. Like there's more than this, but I have no idea what that more is. And so I make the leap of faith to, I'm going to no longer be a professional dancer. I'm going to find some other career where I don't have to work 12-hour days and I can buy a house and all of these things. And I change careers. I have an identity crisis. I second guess myself the whole way. And I kept thinking that something was wrong with me,
Mm.
because as Sandra and I were talking, I shared that my parents, my mom especially, who I've always looked up to, so she's always sort of been my marker, they didn't change careers. She got a degree, she like got a job, and she's doing that same type of work all of these decades later. The same thing with my dad. So I felt like, oh, I must be doing careers wrong because I'm doing it differently than, the generation before me. And that was really, really tough to sort of grapple with.
Yeah, very much so. Um, yeah, I'm just sitting here in the energy of really recognizing all the pieces, and not even all the pieces, but that there are so many pieces to breaking the cycle. Like you said, that there was generational stuff, and we all have witnessed that, where maybe there's been generational poverty in the family because of whatever. Maybe there's generational, oh, I can only go into this type of job because my parent did that. There's generational, where, look, what you just said is that um, you go into that job and you stay there until you die, type of job, right? And the
Exactly.
world doesn't work that way anymore. Yeah.
It doesn't. There's just you mentioned something when we were talking before about like just be giving yourself the permission to pivot, to
Mm.
evolve. And I think that really does play a role in not just the life we're able to live, but in our ability to break the cycles. Like we're actually getting to say, this actually isn't the way I want to show up in the world. This actually doesn't work for me. My mom has a very similar story to yours, in that she grew up in a very specific way that she just it didn't work for her. And so she made intentions to parent us very differently and expose us to things that she never got exposed to, and to make sure we heard I love you, and to really like express her love for us. And so now we have a very different experience or relationship than she had maybe with her immediate family. So that is, that's a real thing.
You bring to mind a beautiful soul in my community who has many children, and she herself never felt the love at home. And she's broken that cycle with her children. And because of breaking that cycle with her children, it actually has come full circle. And those who didn't share the love are recognizing the shift and change, and that they're now expressing their love to that, to they're witnessing her, in a way they didn't before. So
That's
it's so beautiful how it can go all around. It doesn't have to be just, I'm going to break this cycle and it's going to change right here. Like my dad never says I love you to me. Never says I love you to me. And that's okay, because he shows me in so many different ways. However, what he is capable of doing now, because he's been around me, he's witnessed me with my kids, he tells my daughter that he loves her.
Oh,
And it,
nice.
it is so rewarding to witness that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think to your point though, the witnessing of it, I
Mhm.
wonder if, some of the folks who are now changing now that they've witnessed others, I wonder even if they had an awareness. I think that some people are just like, well, this is how we are, and that's just how it's always been. And they sort of accept this status quo. And I forget the language that you use, action taker, or they're the folks who like actually do the thing to make the change, those are really, really powerful decisions to make because when you do those things, especially when they're different than your family, your community, show up, you're risking isolation and
Mhm.
rejection and abandonment. And so a lot of times I think people stay in those sort of cycles so that they can stay a part of the pack. But when you decide this
Mhm.
doesn't work for who I am or for my life and I'm going to do things differently, you're putting all of that on the line. And so it's beautiful when there's like a reward for it, like you actually do the thing you set out to do.
I love this. I will tell you that there's something like possibly 5,000 or 5,600 comments on this. And yes, 85% of them are probably people tagging other people, friends, family members, because they're acknowledging a cycle has been broken. So it's been a very powerful, powerful post. And then there are those who are, I think there was 41 people who are really angry about the post,
Mm,
and that's okay. They're welcome to have their opinion. Maybe
yeah,
they're still caught in that cycle, right?
yeah.
And then there's people on there who have been, verbally saying, that I've witnessed this person and how much they've changed their life, and it's just been such a beautiful, beautiful thing to really bring to the attention that you have the ability to change the cycle. And Shate, you said something very powerful. It's about that. I'm going to use the words setting the intention. You when you decide you're going to break the cycle. I decided I was going to break the cycle,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
My dad's an alcoholic. He's no longer drinks because of a medical issue. However, when I got married, I made the decision when I got married that if my husband was an alcoholic in our marriage, I was going to walk away.
Mhm. Mhm.
And thankfully, I'm now 40 years married, and that has never been an issue, but I knew that I would have the strength because I set that intention going into the marriage that I would not put up with that,
Yep.
right?
Very
So,
powerful.
yeah, yeah, share more. What's coming up? What are you feeling right now?
Oh, what am I feeling? It's interesting that, we started talking about sort of professional evolution and giving ourselves permission. And it's just so interesting what comes up when you talk about family and
Mm,
breaking cycles and, what life you're deciding or choosing to sort of go after and seek. And I think I'm just reminded around, this thought about intention and like choice the last moment in the interview in the conversation we had before about not believing whatever sort of fear-based thoughts are keeping you exactly where you are and sort of having enough gumption to choose what you're becoming or what you would like to become or what you dream of and just sort of the courage that takes. I'm just feeling really, grateful to be having this conversation and just sending out like a hopefully it's a back signal of some sort or something that someone can pick up to say like I actually I can have the life that
mm.
I imagine or I desire and and hopefully you have the support to figure out how to get that as well.
And I love that you brought up the career part of it because I do want to swing back to that. My mom was the typical secretary or front desk person at a hotel and that sort of thing. My dad, however, was a railroader. And when I
Mhm,
say railroader, what that means is he rode on freight trains, usually on the caboose at that time because there was a caboose. Now it's all front end,
mhm,
meaning on the train engine. And I followed in his footsteps. I
mhm. Wow.
actually became a conductor on a freight train.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was why? It was because I wanted to see the scenery. I
Mhm,
wanted to travel and go places. So, yes, even though it was a male-orientated field, and believe me, I butted heads against some males,
mhm.
it was still such an incredible, incredible experience because of the people that I met that accepted me for who I was coming in, and the scenery, the things that I experienced, man, I could go on and on with that. So, I just love that we hopped on here and just kind of shared with people a little bit more about, um, the positive things that can happen with breaking the cycle.
Yes, in your career and in your life. I love that for you, Sandra. A conductor, that's pretty badass, excuse my language, but yeah, love that.
No kidding, eh? Yeah, yeah. So, for those of you who are unaware, although some of you are very, very keenly aware, I'm currently in Hinton, Alberta. We're doing this live right now. Jasper National Park is
Yeah.
80 kilometers, 50 miles away from me. It is my hometown that is burning, and there are mega, mega people here with the firefighters and that, and their command center is like 150 feet from my house, and the amount of women that I am seeing in the
Mm,
roles over there is such a blessing, right? Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
that's hot. I love it.
Yeah. So thank you, Shate. You guys, you have to catch. Well, I'm not going to tell you you have to, but I strongly, strongly suggest that you watch for our interview. Step into the light, step into your life. It will either be on here on my YouTube channel, Sandra Pelly the Sandini, or on my website page, sandrapelli.com/podcast. Shate, any parting words that you would like to leave with us people?
No, I've just enjoyed spending this time with you today. Just two separate conversations, lovely outcome in both of them. And yeah,
Mm,
keep doing what you're doing. And everyone, yeah, break those cycles, make your choices, live the life that you truly desire.
love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.